Hello again, and thank you for staying with us. Renowned South African television personality Nomalanga Shozi is nominated for a South African Film and Television Award in the Best TV Presenter category, acknowledging her contributions to widely acclaimed SABC1 program, The Source. Part 1 of the Saftas takes place tonight, and the main award ceremony will be broadcast tomorrow night. Shozi joins us in studio to tell us a bit more. Nomalanga, a great pleasure to have you with us in studio. Firstly, congratulations on your nomination. Tell us what this means, both for you professionally, but also personally as well.
Well, I think professionally, it's definitely, one of the milestones that you need, I suppose, as a broadcaster. It's that stamp of approval that the work that you've done relates, it translates, it's landing. People recognize it, platforms recognize it. You've earned your stripes. But I think also personally, it definitely makes me feel like my childhood dreams are really manifesting. This is something I've always wanted to do, and to see it play out so beautifully, especially 11 years later, really is a testament to the hard work and dedication that I've put in.
I wouldn't agree with you more. I mean, how do you think The Source, for instance, has contributed to the conversation, especially around contemporary issues in the country?
Well, when we talk about contemporary issues, there's such a wide variety of those. Sure. But because it's a youth-based and targeted show, such, topics as, access to data. Data prices are quite sky high in South Africa. So when we think about the type of content that we have on The Source, it's mostly content that you'll also find on social media. So, beauty hacks, how to do your hair, how to style your looks and your outfits. And there's so many young people who are interested in those things, maybe who don't have that type of access to be on social media all day. They don't have the kind of money to buy data every other day. So we bring all of that onto mass television, and it's included so many people, and it's just so beautiful when I'm in the streets and people are like, "Oh, Nomalanga, I love how you helped me up my fashion game," or "I love how you brought such and such an artist and I got to know them a little bit better through your show, because I can't find them on social media or on YouTube because I don't have access to such." Right? So for me, I think in terms of advancing the position of the people who view our show, we do exactly that. We make information that is readily accessible to people who might have, also available to those who don't.
Interesting for me is that you've credited your team for this nomination. Can you share how collaboration indeed plays a role in creating engaging content on the show?
Well, I think there is no show without collaboration. We collaborate with the content producer, we collaborate with the scriptwriter, with the director of photography, we collaborate with the wardrobe and makeup department. So truly, the South African film or television and film in general, globally, is a collaborative effort, right? There's no show without the presenter, but there's also no show without the showrunner, right? So I think collaboration is at the heart of what I do for a living.
Also interesting, with public voting in your category, how have you engaged with your audience to rally their support as well? Have you come out to say, "Hey, guys, do the right thing"?
Yeah, see, that one for me was a little bit tricky because, when you do the work and you let the work speak for itself, you hope that, people will be compelled to vote nonetheless. But sometimes, and oftentimes, what you find, I suppose, even with a general election, for example, you're not going to get the result that you want if you don't go out and campaign. So sometimes, it's kind of like, I have to go on social media and ask my fans or my viewers or my followers to vote for me. And sometimes that might seem a little bit daunting because it's like, but you guys love me. Surely you're going to do it regardless. But the truth is, every audience needs to be swayed. I use every asset and tool that I have at my disposal, and social media is a really powerful one.
I quite like that, because that brings us to our next question. In what ways has social media indeed influenced your career, but also your connection with the fans, especially leading up to the Saftas as well?
Well, I'll say specifically leading up to the Saftas, it definitely broadened my understanding of how, the people who view my content and the people who have followed my career, how they engage with me, how they see me, how I am positioned in their mind. Because ultimately, when you do this, there's also the brand side to it.
Right.
So it's showbiz. So the business side of it is where the brand work really comes into play, you know, where the PR comes into play. So understanding where, you know, your viewers and your audience position you in their mind and in their psyche is very important. So social media has definitely broadened my understanding of who I am as a personality as well.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of advancing my career, I've had access to such big networks globally, you know, through social media. I've hosted international red carpets at BET Awards, at EMA Awards, you know, just working with really big, powerful networks. And it was through social media where my talent was discovered as well.
Yeah. What advice would you give, especially to aspiring presenters? I know this question is very cliche.
Yeah.
But let's speak to them.
Yeah.
Let's speak to young people trying to break into the scene or into the industry as well.
Well, I think as cliche as the question might seem, it actually is very vital.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I looked to somebody who was already established in the industry for advice as well, you know, and maybe they might not have said it, but in the way that they carry themselves, in the way that they carry their business, in the way that they present themselves, you know. So I think the most important advice I would give to somebody who wants to be in this industry is understand that it is a job, just like every other job. So it's not that the perks of this job are better than the perks of, say, a different job that seems more quote-unquote ordinary, right? When you approach it with the student's approach as well, you're constantly hungry to learn more. You know, you're constantly evolving. You know, you're constantly wanting to gather and find information on how to better yourself, because ultimately it is highly competitive. So you have to know why you're doing it. You also have something, you have to have something that you believe in. What I believe in is God. You know, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And I can't go a day without thanking him for what he's been able to do in my life and what I've been able to actually access and unlock by, you know, zoning into my relationship with Christ. So I think having something to believe in is super important, but also understanding why you're doing what you're doing. What do you hope to achieve? And also understanding that, you know, we might have access to social media, but everything that we do leaves a footprint.
True.
So, and your footprint becomes your legacy. So understanding that also changes the way that we do things. It changes the way we interact with social media. It changes the way that we, you know, carry ourselves in the spaces that we want to grow in, right? So it's really important to understand those tools, but also understand who you are first and foremost.
Let's go back to the Saftas as we wrap. What are you looking most forward to, especially with the event happening? It's a two-day, two-night event as well, as mentioned in the intro. What are you looking forward to? Okay,
so I am nominated at the Saftas, which is a big honor, but I'm also hosting the red carpet.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's such a beautiful moment in my career again, but also on a personal level. It's something I've always wanted to do. And my co-host as well, Kat Sinivasan, is someone I really respect in the industry. So I also love that the industry is finally beginning to recognize younger talent, right? We're seeing more and more new faces on our screens doing really big things. You know, hosting the red carpet at the Saftas is not a small feat. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the category that I'm nominated in, but also looking forward to seeing some of my favorite shows that are nominated and seeing how well they do as well. It's a very competitive Saftas this year. We're celebrating 18 years of the Saftas, 30 years of democracy in South Africa. It's a momentous occasion.
Nomalanga, just out of curiosity very quickly, has voting closed?
It has closed on the 18th.
So I can't even...
You can't even. But I can tell you my social media. It's at Real Nomalanga on Instagram, on X, and on Facebook. It's Nomalanga Shozi. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on SABC2 as well as Mzansi Magic at 7:30 p.m.